This starts off with some single note licks and that go into double stops, this whole thing of... So you're pulling out the top of an E chord, passing through a B7, and then back to E. Then you do that again, going from an A, coming out of that shape with these two notes, back to coming through an E7, which is the 5 of A, and then back to the A shape, the A chord. And that's all almost like a stop time. You don't have to really worry about keeping your thumb going so much there. Then we're back to E, and another E, B7, E shape. And then here's where things start to get interesting. It's based on this chord move. This is in another inversion of E. If you're familiar with this D7 chord with the root in the bass, with the third in the bass, this is the same idea moved up. So we've got E, A7, and E7. So the idea is you keep things moving by passing through these little 3-note chords that are really stolen from a guitar point of view. These chords are stolen straight from the playing of Freddie Green and other swing players who would have strummed them. But we're going to be playing through them fingerstyle, where your thumb is usually grabbing the bass note and then your index and middle are getting the middle 2 strings. And then this is an A13 chord. Again, it's another pretty standard jazz guitar voicing, only since we've got the open A string here, we're going to grab that for the bass instead of this note. So you're actually hitting it on an A, sliding up to B flat, and then doing the same thing with an E in the bass. And then we go to an E minor 7 chord, and then this little chromatic lick, which is really like going A, A minor, E. Then to the A7 chord again. And when we've got this shape, since we're not grabbing a full bar chord shape, we're just grabbing a stripped down thing with the open A string, and then these two notes at the 5th and 6th fret. You can grab either the high string, or like we did earlier, the open B string, and then it's back into this shape, the E chord with G sharp on the bottom. That's a little tricky because you're pulling in the index finger here, and then to this, it's really a C9 chord with a G in the bass, and then it becomes a G diminished chord, then to an F sharp 9, with a hammer-on pull-off. So here's the bass is going from the root to the 3rd of F sharp, grabbing a B7, now a C sharp 7, and the sharp 9 is actually the open high E string, and then F sharp with a flat 9, and then a pretty standard blues turnaround, followed by a 1-6-2-5 turnaround. Now I did 2 different endings depending on whether I was going to keep going around or whether I was coming to the real ending of the tune. So let me go over those 2 things. In the middle, or at the at the end of the first chorus, you're basically coming off of the F sharp 7 with the flat 9, and then you want to basically get into this pickup that you start the tune with, but with a B7 on the bottom. So the thing to do, you're playing these notes on top. Got a little quarter tone bend on the 3rd fret of the high string, open high string, and then open B string. That's all over the F sharp. you go to hit the bottom of the B7 and then pick up here on the 2nd fret of the B string. So you've got, and then hit the slide, hit the 2nd fret on the 3rd and high strings along with the E, and then push them up, and then you're into the beginning of the next round. Now if you're really just ending the tune, it's just, instead of going and then picking up like that, it's a little roll through the B7 and a little hammer on at the end to the 1st fret on the E chord. So the difference between and those are the two different endings. And so you can just play the first ending when you want to keep looping it around, and then also practice the second ending with that roll, and that way you'll be able to either keep going or stop when you finally want to.